Welcome to Danielle's Crafts. My name is Danielle, and I'm glad that you're here. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, and that bell so you don't miss another tutorial.
Hello, welcome to layout 1 for Take to the Sky. This is a 3 double layout workshop. If you've got your guides here, you will have everything you need in addition to the support video for implementing the workshop into your cuts. So this is layout 1, and we are going to work on edge distressing. So you can do this with two ways. You can have an edge distresser. Here's one that is from Close to My Heart, which obviously you can no longer get, but it is something like this. So it's going to have some sort of metal inside, a blade of some sort that is going to run your paper through to distress it. If you don't have an edge distresser of any sort, you'll just use the side blade of any pair of sharp scissors that you have. So that's our featured technique for this layout. I'm also going to be using a jelly roll pen. I'm going to use 05 for this layout, and I'm also going to use a black journaling pen 0.5 just to do some doodles on here. So we're going to start with the doodles first, then distressing, and then we're going to go ahead and put everything together. When you cut this out, all of your pieces need to be dovetailed for this layout. So dovetail is very, very simple. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper just to show you how it's done. Let me grab just a smaller piece here. And when you do this, you're going to cut in the middle, like so. So let me just come up a little bit closer to the camera just to give a better idea of what's going on here. And so you have this cut here, and then you're going to go from the corner to the end of that cut and repeat on the second side. And then now you have this dovetail right here. So that's how you're going to cut. That's what the DT means in the cutting guide, if you're not familiar with that. So dovetail. So all of these small pieces that you see in your cutting guide here that say DT on them, that's what that means, and that's how that's done for dovetailing. Okay, so let's go ahead and put all of our pieces. When you're cutting, you should lay them out into your pages. So I have got this set up into left and right, and you'll use the picture in the cutting guide to determine which side is left and which side is right. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to grab a ruler, and I am going to create a border on my page here, and I just want a small border, and I'm going to use a gel pen to do this with. This gel pen is going to help just sort of highlight and make the page pop a little bit, and I think the white on the Night of Navy will be really cute. I'm going to move my ruler to the 1/2 inch mark here, and then I'm going to start a 1/2 inch down. So I just want to make sure that my paper is straight so that my line is straight. And so I'm going to start at a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to come all the way up and stop at a 1/2 inch. And sometimes a gel pen for these can not roll smoothly, so I just go over it a few times, and then I'm left with a nice straight line. So go ahead and speed up the process here, and I'm going to do this for the other 3 sides on both the left and the right sheets, so I'm going to finish that off camera. All right, so I've got all of my borders on both the left and the right done in my journaling pen, and this is just that white gel pen. And so the next thing that I want to do is I want to focus on adding some black journaling to this white daisy or basic white, whichever cardstock you happen to be using, photo mat. So when I add the doodling on here, you can do it freehand if you choose to. I am just going to center this as best as I possibly can using the grid on my Versa mat. If you have a glass mat, this would be perfect for that. So I'm going to come in about 1/4 inch on here, and I'm just using my ruler here, and I'm going to using these little squares are about 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to come in 1/4 inch and just draw a line all the way around, just like I did for my border on the Night of Navy in the gel pen. So just come down. If you need to turn your paper, you can do that. If it's not 100% straight, don't worry about it. It's just an accent piece that we're using here to create some dimension and extra layers to our project. Again, just getting that straightened up, and then we will be done here in a moment. Super simple. All right, so that is done, and I'm going to put this off to the side. The next thing that I want to do is I want to distress my paper. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do that. We're going to distress all the pieces, and I will do some of it on camera, and then the rest of it will be off of camera so that we can spend our time creating. Okay, so when you do it via scissors, so you're just going to take the flat edge of your scissors. So I have mine open here, and I'm just going to run it along the edge of the page, putting a little but not a lot of pressure on it. So I don't want it to slip and cut myself, right? And I don't want it to tear the paper so much that it isn't flattering. And so you just kind of want to get this textured look or the pop on the edge of that paper there for distress. Now, a distressing tool will do something very, very similar. You will run the paper, run it just along the edge, applying a little bit of pressure. Too much will tear the paper. And that's fine too. That's all part of the process. But if you don't want it to tear, then you're just going to not put as much pressure on that. So it's just going to come through and you just rip it. And so you can see there's not much of a variation in those. So your scissors will work very, very well if you do not have a distress tool. Now, to get it even more, what you can do is you can run it the opposite way, and this will really kind of bulk that up a little bit. Same with your scissors. So you go one way with it, and then you go another way. And the more comfortable you become with the motion of just kind of going back and forth, the easier it will be to manipulate the paper so that it kind of gives that grungy little look, if you will. And so we just go through all of that, and you're going to do this to the left and to the right sides, and you're going to do it until you don't want to do it anymore, until it feels good for you and you really like the feel and the look for it. Again, you can go the opposite way. You can flip the paper over and sort of go that way. So as much as the shabby chic look that you want is when you stop. You're going to want to do that for all of the pieces on the left and the right, and even all of your dovetail pieces. So you're just going to come in, again, either with your scissors, nice and steady. You don't want to cut yourself. And distress the edge. You can go back and forth on here, like so. And it just gives a really, textured look for it. It's something, it's old. This isn't a new technique by any means, but it definitely gives a little bit of character to your pages, especially since this is a masculine layout. I just kind of wanted to beef that up a little bit. So all of those pieces are going to look like that. All right, I'm going to do this to both the left and the right side pages with all of those elements. For now, I am going to skip the cardstock with the photo mats. I'm not going to do those at this moment. I may change my mind a little bit in a little bit, but I am going to do these circles for the accent piece. So I will be right back, and I'm going to come back and have all of these pieces done. All right, all of these edges for all my pieces have been distressed. So now we're going to get started with configuring our page so that it becomes a layout. One of the things that I recommend doing is taking all of your titles and putting them together first before doing anything else. So for this particular title right here, this is going to be in 4 different sections. So you're going to have an offset, so a base to put everything on. Then for adventure, that will be 3 parts, And the 3 parts consist of another offset, if you will, and it's in white. And then you will have in this misty moonlit cardstock right here the solid letters of each, the solid word in each letter will be in this misty meadow. I want to say misty meadows, misty moonlight. Then in the smoky slate, you are going to have a very thin outline of each letter. So that's the 3 parts. My recommendation is to put the misty moonlight onto the white daisy or basic white, whichever one you're using. And then once that is all adhered and dried, then apply the outline on top. Then go ahead and apply with some dimensionals, or if you have 3D foam left in your stock from Close to My Heart, you want to apply that just to the adventure and then add it to your offset piece here. And then you can put Weekend at the top. So those are the stages that I recommend doing it. Now, my glue was a little bit haphazard, and so it did get in the middle, and I didn't like the way that that looked. So I brought in a Wink of Stella, or an old Close to My Heart shimmer brush, the clear, and I filled in the center there to mask any of the adhesive that I had gotten that I didn't really like where it was going, right? So that's why that is like that, and I think that was a happy accident. So there is my title, and I'm going to set that off to the side. Now, for the left side of the page here, when we put this together, we're going to put it together using some measurements. And I want to stop really quick and do some doodling one more time on our pieces right here. One of these is going to be just an accent piece, and then the other one is going to be a little bit of journaling. So with the slightest amount of sticky, and I'm just going to unstick it, I'm going to center this right here as best as I can on my page, on my Versamat here, and I'm going to use the lines and my doodling pen to create some grid here. And so I will just use the 1/4 inch mark and go across this. This has already been distressed. You can do this like I am before, after we distress it, or you could do it before, whichever your personal preference is. And so I'm just going to do this 1/4 inch mark on both circles here. And these circles come from one of the Cricut cuts that are the negative space that we don't use for layout 3. So I'm trying to utilize those in the other layouts. There's plenty of circles left, so you can add them as you see fit, or you can omit them. This is definitely your project, so I recommend that you do this however it speaks to you. Okay, so there's my little lines. There's some accent pieces there. I'm going to put that off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and do that for the second one as well. All right, so now both of these are done. So let's get to putting our pieces together. So for the left side here, I'm just going to sort of scoot this off to here. And so for the left side over here, you're going to want the following pieces. You're going to want your base page that we already did the doodling on. You're going to want the piece of blue plain paper that it measures 6 1/4 by 9 by 9. So 6 1/4 by 9 is what you're going to want this piece. You're going to want the white daisy or basic white, whichever one it was that you pulled from your stash. And this is going to measure 5 1/2 by 8. I'm sorry, 5 1/4 by 8 1/4. So those pieces. You're going to want one photo mat. And your photo mat is going to be 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. One titled called Adventure, Weekend Adventure, and the second part of the title is With You, which goes on the right side. You're going to want some clouds. So for the left side, you're going to want 3 clouds, large, medium, and small, and a very small plane. All right, and then you're going to want all of the various dovetails that we did cut in our cutting guide. So they're going to be a little shaggy here. And you'll use the full color picture guide to just help you determine left or right, or you will, utilize it in whatever manner that you wish that looks great for you. So let me just push this up a little bit so it's centered in the camera here, and we're going to get going. So I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm going to work myself up to the top here for this left side. We're going to sort of stick in the center. We're not going to go all the way to the top or the bottom with all of these, and we're going to sort of overlap them as we come through. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a dry run here. This is what I'm calling our hero paper. Okay, so we're going to do a little line down here. And we're going to just make sure that this comes in. Super cute. We're going to put that on. This one's going to go here. This is going to sit on top. Yeah. All right. I'll just have you get my little guide there to remember how I did that. And so, okay, sorry. And so then we will build our base up like this. This piece is going to go right up here at the top, like so. And then this is going to be an accent piece to break up some of this gray scale that we've got going on here. Like so. And this will come in like this. Okay. So this is just a dry run. So if you're familiar with how my working style, I always do a dry run. This piece right here is going to come 2 inches from the top. This is really why I love using my Versa mat. So any mat that you have that allows you to have a grid on it is what you'll want to use. And then it's going to go 1 inch from the right. So 2 inches down and then 1 inch in, and you can eyeball that. And then all of these pieces are just going to shift down slightly. So I am going to go ahead and put this piece down. And when I put adhesive down, I'm going to sort of move my adhesive in just a little bit so that I can tuck some of these dovetails in. So I'll just put my finger here so that I know right where this goes, this adhesive goes and doesn't go. On the other side, I'm going to be a little bit more generous in putting it closer. All right, so that is that 2 inch down. Let's straighten out my base page here. 2 inches down and then 1 inch over, like so. And now I can start pushing these guys in and under. If you want to use the back of any of these pieces, feel free to do that. And some of these are just going to be slightly in, and some of them will be married right up to the crease of this. And I encourage you that when you're adding these in, that you do this to however it sings to your heart. So when you're making your pages, it's important to do that so that it speaks to however you need it to go. So I really, really, really love how these pieces come together. So I am just going to change my mind here, and that's okay. I'm allowed to change my mind, right? All right. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to add this on top and sort of marry it under just a hair here. And so I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this in here. So just change the order of it a little bit, and that's okay. That's what you should do. You should change things so that they sing to you. I was looking at my sketch, and I don't necessarily care for my sketch part of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick this right on top there. And then this piece is going to come up like this. I love the little cut aparts that are available in this paper collection here. Okay, so now I've got all of these pieces. They've got this great texture coming out through that distressing that we've done. So now I'm going to add in our photo mat here, and this is going to hold a 4x6 photo, and this will be like a portrait style photo. And when we go ahead and add this piece on right here, it's about going to be a 1/4 inch from the bottom here, and maybe about a 1/4 inch from the side. There we go. So it's going to sit heavier on this side, and more of this area is going to be exposed over here. When we put this piece on, it is going to sit really close down to the bottom, and this is going to allow for our title to breathe and live at the top. All right, and you can just use your journaling as a guide there. I'm going to come in with this little last dovetail right here, and I'm going to sort of tuck it right in under that piece. Now, this little circle is going to go right up here to the top like this, and it's going to be a resting place for our title here. So let's go ahead and adhere this down. And so when I put this down, it's going to just be, I don't know, sort of whatever feels really well. So I don't want it to power too much over here, but just sort of center it. Let's see. I'm going to put it so that it is not quite centered in the page. So there's my 6-inch mark, so it's a little to the left of that. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put Weekend Adventure here, and I'm going to have it heavy over this way. That way I can add some clouds in over here like so and build up my little scene here. So I am going to leave the Weekend Adventure there because that's where I like it, and add in the cloud underneath. See, how far out do I want to go? Right about there. That looks great. Okay, and then we're going to add in our other clouds. Do I want them here, or let's put them at the top like so. I think that looks fantastic. And you can sort of move that. So we're going to put that in like this. Oh my goodness. Should have put the smaller one first, but that's all right. There we go. And now I can go ahead and adhere down my title here with a little bit of adhesive. All right, and then I'm just going to bring that over so that it ends with my cloud right here. And a little bit of that is still sticking out at the bottom. There we go. Nice and straight. And I just love that. Okay, and now I have my little plane that's left over that I can put a little bit of dimensional on. I love these dimensionals. I really do. And we'll just put one on here and pop this up like so. It's just flying in. Again, this is a 4x6 photo that fits right on this piece here. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to come in with some of these industrial trinkets. These are really adorable. And then we're just going to add a few at the top here, maybe just one at the top and two down here like so. And when I put these on, I am going to use glue dots to secure them on and just have these mini glue dots. And I feel like they do a fantastic job. And I'm going to put it off to an angle there. Wonderful. All right. So you have the left side of your page done, and it is open for interpretation. So whatever you would like to do with putting this together, and you want to add some more doodling to the edges or ink splattering or anything and take it a notch up, go ahead. But I love this. I think this left page looks fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and do the right side now. So for the right side, you're going to have your Night and Navy base, and then you're going to have this beautiful DSP paper. This is going to measure 8 tall and 3/4 tall by 5 3/4 wide. You're going to also have some photo mats, and this one's going to call for 4 of them. And so you're going to have a 4x6 photo that's going to go on this 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mat. And then you're going to have 3 pieces that are cut at 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and so that'll give you 3x4 photo mats. You're also going to have that other circle that we did some journaling lines on. You're going to have 3 clouds, a medium airplane, and the rest of your title, which is with you, that's going to sit on top of this. And then you're going to have a series of your rest of your dovetail pieces here. So we're going to sort of use the right side, the left side to make the right side so that we kind of have an idea of what is going where, when, and how. And this will just help us give a concise pattern to our pieces here. So this piece is going to go there. And I realize that this is sticking off. Don't worry about that at the moment. And then through here, we have a couple of additional pieces that are a little bit shorter. And I'm just doing a dry run here. This red piece is going to go up here. This blue piece is going to go down here. And then we have a couple of additional tags, like this one's going to go right up at the top just to marry the other side. And then we have our other piece that's going to come in maybe right around here that's going to play with this piece here. So like last time, I just did a little bit of a dry run here to sort of give us a going start. And I'm going to only apply adhesive, leaving a little space here in case I want to tuck some of these dovetails underneath. So this piece is going to start off about a 1/2 inch from this left side and about 1 and maybe an 1/8 inch down from the top. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on our piece here. Oops, well, we're not going to tuck anything at the top now, are we? And that happens. All right, so I'm going to just straighten this up here on my grid, and this is going to come in at a 1/2 inch. So we're going to come down 1 and an 1/8. So there's 1 and there's a 1/4, so about right here, and then a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, sorry, 1/4 inch. So about right in here. And it doesn't have to be an exact science. It does sit higher than the right or the left page does. All right, so we have these that we can tuck in. And let's go ahead and get started putting these down. Like I said, if you want to tuck them in, under, I should say, you can. This is going to come up about 1 1/4 inch from the bottom. So we've got 1 1/4, maybe a little less than that. a little higher than that. So it doesn't have to sit. Oh, you know what? Actually, we're going to put these on top. So, excuse me, I am getting ahead of myself. These pieces are going to come right in here like so. Let me get this off before it sticks down. This makes better sense. Okay, sorry about that. We are going to put this in. It's going to be about 3/4 inches, our photo mats. We're going to put those in first before we do our dovetails. I'm like trying to figure out how I was creating this. So 3/4 inch over, and then it's just going to sit maybe 1/4 of an inch above. Maybe something like so. There. That's going to go great. All right. And then we'll get the rest of these going. And you're going to want a spacing of about 1/8 of an inch between them. So it's not a whole lot of space here. And they are going to hang off this piece. Perfect. Okay. We probably could have went over just a little bit, but that's all right. Now we can put our pieces on here, and this is going to butt right up to that. And then we'll build up through there. And it's just simply layering them. So I don't have to worry about this one being as long like I did on the other page and tucking. Now that I've got my sketch over here, I can really pay better, closer attention to what my thought process was when getting this assembled here. I love this little airplane right there. I thought it was so cute. All right, this piece I am going to take off, and I'm not going to put that one on because I'm going to come in and bring this in right in up here. It's going to be level, and I want those pieces to stick out. So I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to just pull it out a little bit. This is how we are able to save some paper here. It's going to come up, and I'm not covering anything else up. So we're going to go ahead and put this on, and this is going to be another portrait style. So I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch-ish and just make sure it's lined up nice and straight there. And so then you can see that this piece carries on, and you can actually see it through the underside there. And now I have my adhesive on here. And I'm going to make sure that this plane sort of sticks out. I love that little red on there. That's super cute to me. This piece is going to come down in here now, a little bit different than we did on the other side. Just carry that blue through, and then I'm going to pop this up, and we'll put a little bit of red between these two here and make it stick out. Perfect. This is coming along so nicely. And then we'll pop that underneath. And now we're ready for our circle piece. And so our circle piece is going to sort of sit over on this photo mat here and just barely touch this one here. So you still want to be able to see some of the pieces that are coming through. And enough that your adhesive isn't imposing any pictures that you put in. And then we're going to put that off to a little bit of an angle here. And we'll go ahead and add our title. And we have some clouds to put on in addition to all of that. And so these clouds are going to sit a little bit down to the bottom here. Just sort of build that scene up. So adventure, weekend adventure with you. Yeah. Okay, so let's pop these up. Some dimensionals here. And they're going to hang off just slightly onto our piece. So we have a little bit of room for journaling here. You can always add more in if you would like. And then I'm just going to put a little adhesive there so that I can build up my cloud scene. Perfect. And so then I can put my little clouds, tuck them right under there. I was originally going to put them down at the bottom, but I really like them tucked underneath the circle. It almost looks like a little moon, if you will. So that's sometimes when whatever you have in mind that you're working with, and then when you're pulling it all together, it becomes two different things. So let's put our airplane down at the bottom here. And we're going to add in some of our little trinkets. And when we put this together, I will show you that, oh my gosh, it doesn't twist, it pops off. I will show you that sometimes, there we go. All right, little bit of miniature or mini glue dots here. It goes to show you that sometimes when you are doing a layout, you can change your mind from the original design. So I will also show you here. Let's bring in our left side back into the frame. And here are our completed layouts here. Let's get them nice and straight. So you will see that we have our triangle for our visual effect. So it brings you here, and then you're driven over here by our little cluster that we've created here. And then let's put in some pictures. All right, so this makes it look just a little bit cleaner when we have our focus pieces on here, and sort of drives home the finishing touches. All right, I hope you enjoyed layout 1, and I will see you for layout 2. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everybody.